Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is a condensed version of today's episode of Undisputed, handpicked with the best segments and discussions. Skip, Shannon, let's go.
We are a quarter of the way through the NFL season already. Dez Bryant has yet to find his way onto a roster. He might be feeling a little left out because yesterday he posted on Instagram this video of himself catching footballs, hanging out. Dez has been chiming in on Twitter this season to criticize his former team. He took to Twitter again yesterday when asked about his future plans. Someone asked Dez, "Who you signing with?" Dez said, "I'd rather it be the Dallas Cowboys. If not, I'll be ready to play somewhere else." Shannon, can you see Dez returning to Dallas?
No. Skip, I don't know if you noticed when he's doing that overhand, that squatting with the kettlebell, his left knee was caving in. He needs to work on that. He needs to get a little bit more stability.
Oh, well, do you think it's an issue?
No, it's not an issue. No.
It's form.
No.
Okay.
Skip, what I'm trying to understand, what's going to be the difference this year with Dez on the Cowboys than what we saw last year from Dez on the Cowboys? If they're trying to help Dak develop more as a passer, why would you bring Dez back? Skip, out of receivers, quarterbacks that qualified in the last 2 years, Dez and Dak was 37 out of 39 combos. That's where they are.
I know. I got
of
it.
qualified receiver quarterbacks.
Yep.
Now they didn't have great rapport to begin with. Now here's a guy, no OTAs, no training camp, no mini camp, missed the first 4 weeks of the season. He comes back and they're gonna what? Pick up where they left off? And you know where they left off with no connection. See, Skip, when Dez and I was when I listened to him talk and his tweets and IGs, he says, "I'm gonna sign when I'm right." Dez is not physically injured. Dez's mind, his psyche, is physically injured because everything that Dez is as a professional athlete is tied to the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys released him. He has not gotten over that, Skip.
He has not.
And this is why, he's watching Cowboys game and he's critiquing this guy. I knew this guy's gonna be good. I told you that guy can play. He can't get it past him. And what he think he's doing is that showing his love and infatuation for the Cowboys is harming his ability to sign with other teams. Because at the end of the day, the teams want to know, where's your mind? Because remember, Skip, and this is totally different, what did they say about Cap? Where's his mind? We want to know is football at the forefront. Well, if teams, all you doing is tweeting and talking about the Cowboys, there are 31 other teams not named the Cowboys. So Dez's heart, Dez's mind is only in Dallas. And I think what happened is that Cleveland guilted Dez into coming to visit. Because they say, Dez, we tried to reach out and Dez not calling us back.
That's
and
true.
Dez like, well, John Dorsey, I'm on my way, blah, blah, blah. I think they picked up early on Dez's heart wasn't in it, Skip. And if your mind is not in playing, he wants to play, but he only wants to play for Dallas.
I agree.
His psyche was damaged by the Cowboys releasing him. People don't know what that does to you. Take it from a guy that's been released. I was released after leading the tight ends in catches and going to the Pro Bowl. It does something to your psyche, Skip, because you start to question yourself. Well, if I did all this and they released me, Dez has fooled himself to still think he's a number one receiver. And those closest to Dez have lied to Dez for a very long time.
They have.
And this is what I tell guys all the time. Surround yourself with people that tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. And that's what Dez has done. People tell him what he wants to hear. Skip, this would make no sense to me because and it's very telling that the Cowboys released Dez and they didn't even ask him to take a pay cut. They didn't ask him to restructure his contract. They said, "No, we good." But now somehow, after not being he hadn't played football in 9 months? Almost a year, Skip, since January. So we're 9 months in. He's not nowhere near football shape. Dallas would be the logical choice, Skip, because he knows the offense. It's going to be virtually impossible for him to go anywhere else. You're going to learn the offense now? Skip, this is sad.
By the way, quick point to your point. Our man Bryce Butler, who has now rejoined the Dallas Cowboys, I've texted with a couple times, and he said he's having a hard time figuring out they're new now because they have a new receivers coach with new routes, Sanjay Lal. So he said it's all new to me. So you don't think it would be even newer to Dez Bryant?
Maybe what they did, Skip, is they changed the steps. Or maybe instead of going, some people run yards, some people go steps. So maybe they changed some of that.
I'm sure they did. So I unfortunately agree with everything you just said to a fault, because I'm here to tell you, I'm getting desperate as a lifelong Cowboy fan. And I applauded Jerry Jones in the offseason. You know I did. For finally having the guts to stand up and cut the cord with a young man, still fairly young man, he's 29, that he considered to be like a son to him, Dez Bryant. And I said, it's addition by subtraction. That was really the only significant move Jerry Jones made in the whole offseason, was to cut Dez Bryant.
Correct.
And I thought, okay, clear the deck, start over, let Dak spread the ball, spread the wealth. Instead, I got to go to 88. My read tells me 88 because he's being single covered. And last year, to me, was just an unwatchable disaster. He led the league in drops. And yet, I thought that a collection of number 2 receivers, that somebody would emerge as the number 1. It has not happened. They now look like a collection of number 3 receivers to me.
But that's what they are.
Okay, so I sit back and I say, okay, my team can do 2 things that very few, if any, teams can do. My team can lead the league in rushing.
Absolutely.
And my team can play, I believe, top 5 defense.
Correct.
And rush the passer. Pretty good. But if your quarterback is playing with one hand tied behind his back because he has a collection of number 3s, you have to throw it to somebody sometime.
Yes.
Or slowly but surely, your number 1 rushing attack will erode with 9 men in the box. Because finally they'll just say, no, you can't do that anymore.
Nope.
We dare you to throw it to somebody, Dak, and somebody is nobody. Because I'm thinking, well, who is it? I told you the other day, the best receiver on that team, in my humble estimation from over here, is the running back. I just believe he is. I think it's Ezekiel Elliott. And by the way, he leads the team in targets so far. He's had 22 targets. That's the most targets of anybody in the team, because he's their best, quote-unquote, wide receiver as well as their running back. Well, that's kind of bad. That's scary, isn't it? Sad, bad.
Can't be the only
Well, what about Skip? This is sad from Dez. It's almost like, let's just take this in normal society. You work a regular 9 to 5. You lose your job, but you show up every day with a sign looking for work.
Oh, it is sad.
Okay. That's what he's doing, Skip Bayless. He's politicking on social media.
Okay, just remember who he is. He was born and raised in Lufkin, Texas, and he believes he was born to be nothing but a Dallas Cowboy, start to finish of his career. And again, it got yanked out from under him, and he was the most shocked man in the world when Jerry cut that cord.
Skip.
I know.
He could have prevented this.
I got it, but he didn't. So all of a sudden, we come to a Sunday night game this Sunday. That's a big stage.
Right.
That's pretty close to being a Monday night game, right?
It's the primetime game.
The world is watching.
Absolutely.
And even though Dallas-Houston isn't really a rivalry in the minds of Dallas, because it's a one-sided rivalry, it's Houston's looking up at Dallas basically and saying, we want to be you because you've always been America's team. But it is considered for the championship of Texas, and many Texans would say that's for the championship of the world, right? So it's got some stakes to it. And you have Jerry Jones versus Bob McNair, and there's some owner pride going on there. It's who has the best young quarterback. Is it Deshaun or is it Dak? And Dak is playing with one arm tied behind his back, because I don't see how, and Shannon, it kills me to have to sit back and watch Pat Mahomes throwing to Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill. And
Travis Kelce.
And Travis Kelce. And then I have to watch Matt Stafford throwing to Golden Tate and Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones.
What about Jared Goff?
Yeah, how about Jared Goff throwing to, wait a second, he's got
Robert
Woods and Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks. He's got all that going on? Really? And I got Measly Beasley? I got Measly Beasley. He's my leading receiver.
And what did the Eagles do, Skip? They went out and got weapons for Carson.
They did.
That's what
he's back. The weapon is back. Alshon.
If you want Dak to be that, Skip, good. You're a running team. But if you want Dak to be able to throw the football consistently and accurately, well, you better go get him somebody, because this ain't it.
No, this ain't it. So I'm going to give it one more game. And again, I'll probably overreact.
You want hold on. You want Dez back? After you campaigned the last 2 years.
I'm getting desperate because I got nobody. I had this vision of spread the wealth to, well, all of a sudden I thought hurt, and Deontay, and maybe Terrence Williams reemerges as a real force on that team, because there have been games like Kansas City last year. Go look at his numbers from that game. He was inactive the other day, so he's not even on the roster right now. And that wasn't because he was hurt or ill.
Yeah.
He just lost his roster
healthy
spot.
Scratch.
Okay, it was a healthy scratch. So I keep waiting for somebody to step up. Tavon, he caught one ball for 64 yards. The rest of it, he's caught 4 other balls for a grand total of 17 yards, and he dropped a touchdown the other day.
But what did I
tell
you?
You said it. He's not a wideout.
No.
But they're trying to make him one, and he has run past people.
Yes. Yeah, you hit that every once in a while, but he's a gadget guy.
Yep.
He's a gadget guy. And in order, Tyreek Hill was able to take his game to the next level because he spent off seasons working on running routes. He says, I need to be more than a one-trick pony.
Okay.
Because at some point in time, people will just start to bail, and I won't be able to get deep.
Okay.
So I need to be able to run a comeback. I need to be able to run an out or a slant route or over route.
Yep.
So he says, okay, I'm going to get proficient at this. I don't know if Tavon has done that.
Okay.
Because you have to expand, Skip. Whatever you're good at, teams will go back, coaches will go back, and they'll break you down and say, you know what, this is all he wants to do.
Yep.
So we're going to force you to play to your weakness as opposed to playing into your lane, your strength.
Okay, so Allen Hurns had one big catch late in the game the other day on third down, but for the year, a one-hit wonder from Jacksonville, because he had the one breakthrough year.
I think.
Yep. He has 14 targets so far and has caught 7 of them. That is not good enough.
Nah.
And Michael Gallup, the kid they drafted in the 3rd round from Colorado State, 12 targets, 5 catches is not good enough. So I don't have anything, and I'm starting to think, well, maybe even a bad Dez Bryant would be better than this. Seriously, that's how desperate I am.
Good receivers get 12, 14 targets in a game. You're talking about they got, through 4 games, got 14 targets.
Through 4 games.
What do you think about that?
I don't know.
There have been games that this year Julio had 17 targets. Antonio Brown's had 13, 14 targets. Mike Evans.
Juju had 19, didn't he, in that game? Wow, okay. I don't know. I can't defend it, and I can't fix it.
I get what Dak was trying to say. You don't need a number one. We just going to spread it around.
Yeah.
But you got to have somebody to spread it around, too.
They're just spreading manure right now.
I can't believe I never thought I'd hear today. Skip Bayless want Dez back.
He's a little desperate.
Desperate.
What can I do? And again, he lives right under your nose. Obviously he's camped right there in Dallas, and he would crawl to Frisco to be a Dallas Cowboy, right?
He lived there last year.
I know. I got it.
He's a year older.
Well, maybe this would be the Dez redemption story, right?
That'd be good.
Maybe he would be humbled to the point he would come back and practice harder and hit the weights harder. I don't know. I'm desperate, man. I'm trying. I'm reaching.
So in other words, he's going to show up on time. He's going to be professional this time
best
around.
behavior.
Oh, okay.
New
Probably
Dez.
not.
New Dez.
Okay.
I hope he's listening, watching today. He's going to appreciate that from you, Skip.
No, he probably watching it. Say he going to come on. Then he'll get scared and
We're
check
still
it out and
waiting
say, no, I can't
for our
do
special
it. When
guest.
he's right. When he's right, Skip.
He
You say,
chickened out on us 2 or 3 times.
yeah, but when he's right, when he's right, he's going to sign with a team.
Well,
when he's right, he's going to come on the
Well,
show.
he'd only be right if Jerry called him.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here. More of the Undisputed podcast is on the way, but first, a quick word from one of our sponsors. The fall's most kick-ass new drama is about to kick off. Wednesday, October 10th, the highly anticipated new series All-American premieres on the CW. Suspense and superhero mastermind Greg Berlanti, producer of massive hits like Riverdale and Black Lightning, is now about to kill it in the sports genre as well. Inspired by local football hero Spencer Singer, All-American is about a high school football phenom from South Central who gets recruited to play in Beverly Hills. Tay Diggs crushes it as Beverly High football coach Billy Baker, a former star player in his own right, who sees himself in Spencer. Coming off 2 losing seasons, he also sees Spencer as his ticket to job security. Billy promises Spencer the chance to someday go pro and give his family a better life. The relationship between a coach and player, who each have everything to lose, is the driving force behind some pretty intense drama, both good and bad. If you could draft a fantasy football team for fall TV, All-American would be in a league of its own. Catch the series premiere of All-American Wednesday, October 10th on the CW.
No mercy.
There are tons of storylines for that game tomorrow night. The Patriots and Colts will meet for the first time since the 2014 AFC Championship game, also known as the Deflategate game that led to Tom Brady's suspension. Josh McDaniels will face the Colts for the first time since he rejected their head coaching offer back in February. And you might remember Colts GM Chris Ballard then giving his famous quote. Take a listen.
People make decisions. People tell people no every day. They tell people no every day. And that's his prerogative and that's his choice. And he chose the path. He chose not to be an Indianapolis Colt. That's okay. We'll move forward.
Has Josh reached out to Mr. Irsay directly?
I don't have knowledge of that.
All right, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Chris.
The rivalry is back on.
Okay, Skip, what do you think tomorrow night's game means to Tom Brady?
It means a whole lot. And forgive me, Mr. Sharpe, if I get too worked up about this. I may need a seatbelt over here because you and I used to go back and forth about this. 2015, back on that other network. You happened to be there. Wrong place, wrong time for you.
I remember watching.
Oh, it was something. But I believe Tom Brady will get re-worked up about the single worst thing that's ever happened to him in his life. I think you're going to see the re-emergence of Psycho Tom tomorrow night. You'll see him in that crazed state wanting ultimate payback from the organization, the Indianapolis Colts, who tried to blow the whistle on him just before halftime of that AFC Championship game in early 2015. And I said from the start that I believe the National Football League chose to railroad Tom Brady with a bunch of flimsy, inconclusive evidence. They tried to sacrifice the great Tom Brady legacy in order to punish the Patriots and Bill Belichick for his history of cheating, not for what had happened in Deflategate as much as everything that had happened with Spygate and other accusations. They just said, okay, let's sacrifice Brady's career because at that point he had turned 38 years of age and it looked like, well, he's about at the end of the line. And I want to thank the NFL for reigniting that fuse in Tom Brady because he just coming off an MVP year last year at age 40.
Yes.
So it actually turned out to be a great thing for Tom Brady. But I told you, I talked to two people very close to Tom Brady back in 2015, and they said he is angry about this because all he ever asked his equipment people to do was to inflate the footballs to the lower end of regulation because he liked to have a little softer grip. Aaron Rodgers likes his at the upper end. He likes the firmer grip. So whatever, but he's just not a cheater. I just don't believe Tom Brady's a cheater. The head coach, I'm not so sure about because he got busted for cheating. But in this case, if you want conclusive evidence, I say look at what happened that night. In the first half that night, it was cold and a little rainy in Foxborough. Tom Brady went 11 of 21 for 95 yards in the first half of that AFC Championship game against the Colts. In the second half, with legally inflated footballs, because they're allegedly got busted at halftime and they re-inflated, with legally inflated footballs, Brady went 12 of 14 in the second half for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. And they won that game 45-7. And then with legally inflated footballs, Brady went on in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter to complete 13 of 15 passes for 124 yards on the Legion of Boom, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Obviously, he got a break with the play call or whatever happened at the end of the game, but he did win the football game. Yeah. And I think that and that alone said, I didn't gain any advantage here. Right. And then obviously Tom Brady went to the first round in court and he beat the NFL in a home game in New York City.
Right.
And then he went to the Court of Appeals because the NFL did, and he lost a 2-1 vote to those 3 judges and finally said, because it was late July, I will take one for the team. Again, his friends were telling me he wanted to take it to the Supreme Court, but he was becoming too big a distraction to his team, so he swallowed the 4-game suspension. And I believe slowly but surely he's fought back and won back much of his reputation since then.
Skip, I agree with you. I believe this means a lot to him, though he will never say that publicly. I believe it means a lot to the Colts, though they will never say it publicly. Because whether you think Tom Brady did this or you didn't, the mere fact that we're having this conversation, which Tom feels we should have never had, was because of what the Colts did. The Colts turned those balls in and said these balls are underinflated. The NFL said, yeah, they are underinflated, and they did all their CSI, whatever it is. And so Tom is looking at it like, hold on. I'm going to wait till I get to be 38 years of age. I've had this impeccable resume. I'm going to wait to get, after I've already won 3 Super Bowls and been the MVP and the MVP of this league, I'm going to wait till I get to be 38 and cheat? Really? Mm-hmm. So now we got to ask this question, and it's going to be, whether, like I said, Skip, whether you believe he did it or not. That's on his resume.
Yep.
People going to like,
it is.
But he cheated. Even if he didn't cheat. The Colts are upset. And Skip, you get told no, and Chris Ballard was right. You get told no all the time. There's a difference, and people call off weddings all the time. It's one thing calling off a wedding 6 months before you get married. It's another thing to leave someone at the altar. That's a whole.
Well, he accepted the job and then said thank you. No thanks.
Skip, the wedding was supposed to go off on Saturday at 3 o'clock. At 3:15, the bride is standing in place with a damn, he done walked it down the aisle and everybody waiting.
That's true.
And the groom ain't show up. So we get to the realization that, ain't no wedding jumping off today. Skip, when we get to the 11th hour, I think the coach realized, hold on. We ain't got no call. He ain't answering his call. Ain't no fax come in. Ain't no email come in.
Nope.
They come to the realization that Josh McDaniels is not going to accept this job. He's going back. Now, Chris Ballard, where you lost me is talking about the rivalry is back on.
Yeah.
The hammer and the nail doesn't have a rivalry. That's kind of one-sided. We hard to know how this thing's going to end.
Yep.
Maybe Pittsburgh and Baltimore is a rivalry. Auburn, Alabama is a rivalry. What you got going on now, maybe when they had Peyton, that was a rivalry. But Peyton is long gone from Indy. So this is not a rivalry.
Yep.
Frank Reich, he's the offensive coordinator at Philly last year. They beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Skip, I think the thing for Coach Belichick, what really hurt and damaged Tom is that when Coach Belichick came out and said, hey, I don't know nothing about no footballs. He said, I don't throw the footballs, I don't catch the football, so I don't care nothing about the footballs. Ask Tom.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Coach Belichick had to distance himself. They had told Coach Belichick, if anything like this comes out, you're gone. A lot of the owners, Skip, felt that Commissioner Goodell let the Patriots off very easy, because it was more damaging. It was more widespread than what was reported.
Yep.
And they knew it. And Commissioner Goodell's like, okay, you're right. I let him off. So I got to punish him this time. Even though the evidence wasn't as compelling as it needed to be.
Sure.
Yep.
But they put it in more probable than not for this very reason. More probable than not. There's a chance you did it.
The Wells report. Yep.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Probable than not?
What kind of bullshit?
That's all you got?
Worst.
Because here's the thing, Skip. We got to do it like this, because if we do it conclusive or reasonable doubt, that's courtroom stuff. We can't have no courtroom. We're not a court of law.
No.
So we got to have it. So it's the NFL court of law, which is more probable than not. Come on, Skip. But so this game means something to Tom, because you bums put this stain on my resume.
They blew this whistle. Yeah.
Chris Ballard says, hold on, Josh McDaniel, you know what? I gave you an opportunity when a lot of teams say you didn't deserve one, considering what happened in Denver. Because don't think that didn't get around, Skip. And then they saw how, you know what? They keep changing a lot of rules. You remember he was the offensive coordinator at the Rams. And when everybody got fired, the Patriots were in the the playoffs. He went and started working with the Patriots. They changed that rule. You can't do that anymore. But anyway, so it means a lot to two different people. It means a lot to Tom Brady, and it means a lot to the Indianapolis Colts.
Yep.
Because Josh McDaniels did jilt them, and he did lead them at the altar, and they did put this stain on Tom Brady's resume. And Tom will never, ever forget this. And I can assure you, if he can hang 100 on him,
he would.
He's going to get 100 or as close to it as he possibly can.
And to your point, this was the beginning of the end of the trust and connection between Brady and Belichick, because Belichick called his own news conference, his own media session on that Saturday between the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, that middle Saturday. And remember, he even reached for, shockingly, the Mona Lisa veto example. Talking about Marissa Tomei's, she won the Academy Award.
And my cousin
Vinny. And he was trying to say, I don't know nearly as much about footballs as she did about cars.
Correct.
You had to reach all the way for that. And this is Bill Belichick, who knows everything about everything.
Right.
This is the guy who has them practice with completely soaked footballs so that they can be prepared to handle the football in a driving rainstorm, right?
Yep.
So I do believe he knows what the inflation point is.
Oh, Coach Belichick knows everything.
Yeah.
He knows what the legal limits of what the balls can be and what they can't be. He knows that. He knows everything. He's a very situational guy. So it'd be hard pressed for me to sit here and say, well, Coach Belichick didn't know the footballs are supposed to fall between
so he's
12 and a
telling
half,
the media,
13 and a half.
don't ask me, ask my quarterback. Under bus did he throw his quarterback, right?
Yep.
And then Robert Kraft, a couple of months later, he says no mas and says, I give up, I accept the punishment. And then another month or so passes, and then he reversed field and said, I shouldn't have trusted the league. I did it for Tom's sake, and I think he thought they'd be a little more lenient, but then they just dropped the hammer with the 4 games and stuck by the 4 games, right?
Had they just taken $1 million, what's $1 million to a guy that's worth billions?
They took a first-round pick.
And he says, okay, even if you take that, you're going to suspend my guy on top of it? So how much is enough?
Yep.
And
even the great Peter King, the best reporter I know on the National Football League, reversed field after he continued to report on this and said, you know what? The league should give back the draft pick because this evidence is too sketchy.
Man, you know the NFL ain't going to, come on, Skip.
Nope.
Now, you know they're not. But here's the thing. I believe had Coach Belichick not had Spygate on his resume, he might have fallen on the sword for Tom Brady. Because we see this, Skip, Michael Cohen talk about, I'll take one for the team. But when they talk about putting that time on you.
No, it'd be time.
When they talk about Coach Belichick, now we told you, if something like this, you're gone. Ain't no ifs and a buts. Skip, the man had to do it. Come on, Skip. I mean, them people, hey, Skip, you know them people come, what I tell you. When them people come for you, Skip, and they come, you ask, hey, would you like to come in? You ask them for a drink, would you like something? And you go ahead and cut you a deal. That's what you do, Skip. Now, I wouldn't do that to you. I ain't telling y'all nothing. 50 years, Mr. Sharpe. I know, okay, well, let me tell you what Skip said.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that,
Not going to do that?
Skip, a true story, let me tell you what. My homeboy, you know, in Fed, they give you months. You know, so they don't give you years, they give you months.
Yeah.
My homeboy did something he had no business doing, and the judge gave him 220 months. He like, man, 220 months, that ain't nothing. Then he started adding it up. It's 12 months in a year. Fainted. The judge say, when he wake up, tell him he still got them 220 months. Oh. Yeah. So, Skip, that's a lot of time. I mean, Coach Belichick had to tell it. Would you have told it? If somebody come to you and say, Skip Bayless, you're never going to be able to spend another day on TV if you don't tell us what happened. What you going to do, Skip Bayless?
About you?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd just swallow it.
Skip, go ahead and tell Skip. Go ahead and tell Skip. Tell it, Skip.
Oh, should LeBron accept advice from Kanye? Yeah, I'm switching gears. We'll discuss that next. Rob Parker is here. He's always riled up.
He ratted me out, Junior.
No mercy.
LeBron has just started to add to his legacy as a Laker, but not everyone is a fan of his basketball move to LA. Another superstar critic has come out and vocalized displeasure with the Kings' move to the Lakers from his hometown in Ohio. Let's take a listen.
It's not my place, but just to make it yay, I feel like LeBron really needs to be in Cleveland. And that it ain't my place, and I'm sorry, Mav and LeBron, for saying I know that's speaking out of place, but I feel like LeBron needs to be in Cleveland, Ye needs to be in Chicago, Big U needs to be in Crenshaw.
I'm not so sure how I feel about Kanye, but since we have Rob Parker here, I would like to get your take. Does Kanye have a point?
Normally, I'm not on with Kanye on most. I'm just we're on two different planets.
Fair enough. But on this,
On this, I mean, I get what he's saying. I really do.
What is he saying?
That LeBron should be in Cleveland. That's where he's from. That's where he was drafted. That's where his people are. Shannon, the idea of it is not like out of this world. Okay, Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn, but grew up in North Carolina.
Okay.
So the difference is there was no team. He wasn't drafted by the Hornets or Bobcats or whatever you want to call them. There was no team. All I'm saying is, when you look at LeBron's career, if LeBron would have stayed in his hometown, delivered the championship, which he wound up doing, it would have been a great story of this local kid from Akron, right down the road from Cleveland, who becomes this great basketball player, lives up to the expectations on the cover of Sports Illustrated, all this other stuff, does all the other stuff that he's done for the community right there, and delivered. But whether it was 1, 2, whatever you wanted to give him. Or he went to 3 or 4 championships and won 1 or 2. But he finally delivered for a city that hadn't won since Jim Brown ran the football.
That's true.
That's the last time they had won anything on the mistake by the lake, which is what they used to call Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So I do get it. I don't think it's the end of the world that he moved on, but would it have been a nice story? And then, okay, he left, went to Miami. They're burning the jerseys. They hate LeBron. He comes back and delivers.
Okay.
They come back. They beat the Warriors after being down 3-1. First time in NBA history. He needs a little help from Kyrie, but they get it done.
A lot of help.
They win a championship.
Yeah, okay. I get
Okay.
You need a little help from Draymond, too.
Right.
But go ahead.
But it was a great story. And then after that, instead of just saying, I'm going to ride this out, I don't need to do anything else. This has been a great run, great career. I got all these numbers, accolades. A lot of people consider me one of the top 2 or 3 players of all time. I'm good. Nope, not good enough. I'm leaving you again, and I'm heading out west. And you guys should be happy that I came back, happy with the 1 championship. So Kanye's not like off his rockers to think that LeBron James should have played his entire career in Cleveland.
You and Kanye are both out of your mind. If you don't mind me asking, Rob, where were you born?
I was born in New York.
Okay, did you work for the New York paper?
Yeah, I worked for the Daily News.
Oh, well, okay, you worked for the Daily News. Did you stay there your entire career?
No, I didn't stay there.
Why didn't you stay there, Rob? You should have stayed there. You were.
Rob, are you the best player on the
No!
planet?
So now, see, first of all.
Here's the difference, Shannon, and you know what? That's a great point. And when I went to Newsday as a columnist, and Skip, you'll notice, it's a difference between being one of the 3 columnists and being the columnist.
Yep.
I work with Mike Lupica. Mike Lupica was the voice of the paper, was the best. Now, if I was in that spot, Skip, do you think I would have left New York
Nope.
if I was the #1 columnist?
Probably.
Never.
So,
Never.
I do not agree with Kanye. I think Kanye is ridiculous. Kanye West is the same guy that said slavery was a choice.
Okay.
Now, make sure you put that on. He's also the
I
same.
told you I don't agree with him. I told you that.
He also said the 13th Amendment should be abolished. Now, let me get this straight. Now, here's LeBron James that grew up in Akron, that helped fund and found a school that helps 240 third and fourth graders. Now, whether he stays or goes, that's in the community. That's helping his community. Let me get this straight. Madonna was born in Detroit. Should she have stayed in Detroit? The Jacksons were born in Gary, Indiana. Should they have? Do you understand how ridiculous?
No, but
No, I
the difference
don't.
is.
She doesn't play for the Pistons.
What difference? Skip.
Right?
Skip. He's not talking about that. He's
What
talking
record
about.
label is there in Gary, Indiana for
He-
them to stay to?
He's talking about LeBron helping the people of Cleveland. It has nothing to do with basketball. Kanye West doesn't know the difference between a basketball and a soccer ball. He's talking about helping the community. Are you telling me LeBron James cannot help his community from LA?
I said he helped his community. I said it would have been a nicer story for a guy who was born there to stay there.
Yeah, but why can't he do what's in the best interest of LeBron? He's helping the community. Look at what he's done for Maverick and Rich Paul, giving them platforms. Look at what he's done for the community. It's never going to be a good enough for some people when it comes to LeBron.
So I will agree with one point you made about Kanye, because I just happened to sit next to him at a Conor McGregor fight, and we were trying to talk sports, and he doesn't know a whole lot about sports. So this was simple wisdom from him. He was apologizing. He just said, LeBron belongs in Cleveland, and he does. You got to admit it. You know he does.
No, he does not.
Deep down, he is Cleveland, or he was Cleveland, and he was born and raised in that community, and they
So if you're
embraced
born and
him the
raised,
way.
you can't leave?
Okay,
Yeah,
no, but and again, you did some great things. You did win the championship, but I said this last year on the show. You'll forget this, but I thought I'm not going to condemn him for going to Hollywood, because it was a great career move for LeBron. But the heart move, the feel-good move, the high character move would say, I just want to stay here with my people, because he gave them an identity they have not had for years and years in sports. And the Indians can't give him that identity. And the football,
Browns can't.
they could if Baker Mayfield, but he's not going to be LeBron James. He's not going to be the greatest player on the planet. So it would have been the greatest story ever if LeBron had said, you know what, I'm here and I'm going to finish here. And we're still going to be the best team in the East next year, because they would have been favored to win the East with that team.
For the next 4 years,
you
probably.
love the moves that they made at the trade deadline.
So
Okay.
just make sure I'm hearing this correct. LeBron is supposed to make everybody else feel good except himself.
Okay, but do you know how it hurt those people in Cleveland, Ohio, or that neighborhood, Northeast Ohio, last night to have to see him just basking in purple and gold in L.A.? You don't think that just tore their guts out?
But
That's hard,
Kanye
man.
was trying to make the argument about the sports, but he's trying to make an argument about the community and what LeBron was doing in the community, and the people need him, and he made
He's still doing that. I'm not knocking LeBron. I'm talking about LeBron.
So he needs to be there. So
no, I didn't say he needs to be anywhere. He can do whatever he wants. I'm just saying, I think that it would be a better story, his career, once he came back, not to walk out on him again. That's all. That's all.
Name the great book that only has one chapter.
It's not one chapter.
Okay, then. Exactly, because it had just been one chapter had he stayed in Cleveland. Oh.
No, but all I'm saying is there's different chapters as far as what he went through in Cleveland. Just because you're in one place doesn't mean that's one chapter. The hard years when they went to the finals, right, and got swept by
Leaving Cleveland, going to Miami. Leaving Miami, going back to Cleveland. Leaving Cleveland, going to L.A. Building this brand in Hollywood. The school that he left behind in the community.
Skip, can I read you the Derek Jeter chapter where he's played 20 years for the New York Yankees?
Everybody doesn't have that luxury.
But he played 20 years for the New. Did he go anywhere, Skip? Did he have to go anywhere? Derek Jeter played all 20 years, Shannon. And you know what? He has a great book. He has almost a spotless career. Almost a spotless career. 5 championships.
How many of all the pro sports, how many played 20 years at one locale?
Not many. I didn't say they did, but when you talk about an upper echelon, one of the all-time greats, it is doable.
A lot of that has to do with the team.
Okay, the Yankees weren't the mistake by the lake, though. Like he was so blessed to get picked by the Yankees, right? Okay.
Yes.
But LeBron was pretty blessed too, or at least Cleveland was blessed that they were in position to take him number one.
Let me ask you a question. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he's drafted by the Lakers. The Lakers has the number 1 pick, or the Celtics have the number 1 pick. You think he jumps?
Okay, but it didn't happen.
Okay, then Derek Jeter got drafted by the Lakers. Had he got drafted by Tampa Bay, you think he stayed there the whole time? Or Arizona Diamondbacks? Oh no! Oh, why not, Rob?
Well, maybe
he got drafted by the most prestige franchise in all of baseball. Maybe one of the top 2 franchises in all of American pro sports. Skip, if you think of Cowboys, the Yankees, pinstripe. They got the pinstripe name of the Yankees. That's where Derek Jeter went. So to try to compare
By
Cleveland,
the way, LeBron's 2 favorite teams, Cowboys.
If you want to try to compare the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Yankees, Rob Parker, you've been in my stash.
Okay, but wait a second. That's Kanye's point. They need him. And Kanye believed that Chicago needed him, so he's relocated back to Chicago. Well, that's what's in his heart.
Kanye says one thing one day and says something entirely different the next day.
Okay,
you can't put
you could be right about that, but this simple wisdom that just popped out of his mouth apologetically, it does apply here.
So what was that wisdom when he said slavery was a choice?
Okay, well
we know that that's...
You pick and choose?
Okay, yeah, I do. Yes.
Shannon, what are you
like
so you're saying you can't say, so if you say something wrong, you can never say anything else that could be right?
When are you going to apologize?
I'm just asking. I'm asking if somebody says misspeaks, can you never say anything again that you were lying to?
And then he says the 13th Amendment should be about... How many times does he misspeak?
This little nugget,
just a little
nugget.
Yeah.
And I think that what he was saying wasn't malicious, wasn't like terribly bashing LeBron. He was just saying he's from Cleveland, from that area, and it would have been great for him to still be there.
A lot of people do great things in their communities, even though they don't live in those communities. You do not have to live in a community to do great things for that community. You do not have to play for that franchise. A lot of people start foundations in the city that they started playing in, and they leave those foundations and they go elsewhere. So to sit here and under the notion that LeBron James somehow is less, or he should be, when he's done great things for the city and for the community.
I don't care how many schools he opens in the Cleveland area. Cavs games are not going to feel the same without LeBron James. They just won't.
You will tell Dan Gilbert, since he's doing such great things in Detroit, let Dan Gilbert. He knows everything. Oh, he had him twice.
He was blessed to have him twice.
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost like being married to Nicole Murphy. You divorce her one time and then divorce again, you fool, dummy.
I don't know. We are all sitting in Hollywood, so I don't know how any of us can talk about leaving our homes for the bright lights. We all do.
Force me.
We all did.
I just woke up.
Force you?
Forced me. I woke up one morning. Next
That
thing
what
I know, I'm
happened?
looking around. I'm
you were
like,
lost
how did I
in that
get here?
How did I get here? You
Yeah.
guys had to be here.
Yeah. Blindfold me.
Those fans in
the
Cleveland,
thief of the night.
boo-hoo. They'll be
They'll
fine.
be all right.
Rob, thank
Yeah,
you.
but I can't
Thank
believe
you for
you.
joining us.
I
We're
can
switching
believe you.
gears to college football. Kyler Murray, is he going to take down Texas and then take that Heisman lead on Saturday? Can't wait for that one. Joel Klatt is here.
Nope.
We'll bring him on next. No mercy. Kevin Durant is set to become a free agent next summer, and he said he'll be, quote, honest about his plans throughout this season with the Warriors. KD wasn't a fan of all the criticism he faced after switching teams in 2016, but says that this time he will be, quote, open and transparent with the media. We're now joined by Yahoo senior NBA insider Chris Haynes. Thanks for joining us.
And by the way,
today.
Chris is so big, he had NBA stars breaking news on his job movement. Am I right about that?
I don't know where they got that information.
I don't
I
either.
don't know how they got it.
man.
Well, that's
Over
very
on the street.
interesting. You know the Warriors so well. So, in your expert opinion, what is your gut saying about where KD will end up next summer?
This could get me in trouble here.
Okay. Spill.
Let's go. When was the last time the Lakers and the Knicks were relevant at the same time?
Ooh, you got to go back to the 70s.
Yeah, some millennials don't even know anything about that. They haven't even experienced anything like that. Look, I will say this. New York Knicks have a very good shot at luring KD away from the Bay Area.
Wow.
The reason I say that is his business partner, Rich Kleiman, is based in New York. A huge New York Knicks fan. Their business is located and based in New York. KD's dad is a big New York Knicks fan.
Okay.
The same allure that LeBron had towards the Los Angeles Lakers, just the building, the culture. Same thing, the same way I know that KD feels about the Knicks.
Wow.
Now, I will say this. Golden State does have the edge, obviously, what they built. But I think for Golden State Warriors fan, I was arguing with a fan about this. It will always be Stephen Curry's team. And this will not, if he were to bolt, this wouldn't be a situation like it was with LeBron leaving Cleveland. You know, he went over there, had a good ride, going off to greener pastures. So I will say Golden State has the edge, but the Knicks, I think they'll be in play.
Does that scare you? He's KD or bust with LeBron.
Okay.
Well, I felt that the Lakers are going to get a D on the report card. They're going to get KD or AD. One of those guys will be in 2019. Will be playing with the Lakers. Not, I would prefer KD because KD and LeBron. But I don't know if the NBA really want that to happen. They want to make it fair somewhat. But I thought KD was fair in his life. I think he was open and honest. He didn't say he was going here or there. He had a meeting with Golden State. He liked what they had to offer. I think when people fought KD, they're like, bruh, you were up 3-1 on that team. That team won 73 games without you. Yeah. And they had a 2-time league MVP. And the last time he won it was unanimous. And you go join them and you want us to be what? Applaud, be happy? So I don't think he hid anything. He never said he was going back to OKC. I thought he was open and honest with that process. I just think the thing is for him is that he hears what everybody says. Yeah. And it bothers him to an extent. And so it seems to me that he goes out there, it's like, oh, y'all think I can only play basketball here in Golden State. I'm the best player. I'm sure deep down he thinks he's the best player.
No, he'll tell you he's the best player.
Yeah.
And he is. But go ahead.
Chris know. Chris know who the best player. He lives here in Brentwood. Chris, hold on, we'll go ahead at
Why y'all doing this?
I'm going to ask you, Chris, you here. Because on this show right here, if you notice, we ain't on the same side.
Yeah.
So you got to pick a side.
That's a good.
You're going to put him right on that hot seat.
Put him right on it.
Where your chair goes.
Yeah. Hey, they gave me the list of questions before I came on. That wasn't on it. I was not prepared for that, Shannon.
Chris, who's the back-to-back finals MVP? It's that guy, Kevin guy, right? That
true.
guy?
Chris, if you
He's
swap
7 feet tall.
Yeah, he's special.
LeBron can't shoot it the way this man can
No.
shoot. He can't shoot free throws the way this man can shoot. He can't shoot threes the way this man pull up threes at 7 feet tall.
KD
You ever
can't
see
drive the
anything like that?
basketball. He can't rebound the basketball. He can't assist the basketball.
Can LeBron, can he defend the way Kevin Durant can defend?
That's what the numbers say.
Shut it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hold up.
I'm kind of with you. But you can't degrade Kevin Durant like that. I mean, come on, the guy's a distributor. He's a rebounder. He's an all-around player.
Up until Kevin Durant averaging 4 assists a game. 4. That's what he averaged for a career. What am I supposed to do with that, Chris?
But he wasn't the main primary ball handler like
That's
LeBron
what I'm
James
trying to
is.
say. LeBron is not trying to score the basketball like KD. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to jump in here.
Thank you.
Look, right now, I would have to still go with LeBron at number 1. KD is right there. It's right there. And there's not a big difference. There's not a big separation.
There's no question about it.
There's not a big separation. But Skip, you got to go with the man who's 34, put the team on his back, do it all. KD can as well. But, you know, I've covered both those guys extensively on a day-to-day basis. I seen LeBron, man, coming back from that 3-1 deficit a couple years ago, man, I haven't seen anybody be able to do anything like that.
LeBron play any defense anymore? I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
He picked
Whoa, wait a second. Kevin Durant was 5th in blocks in this league, and I know LeBron gets his occasional exaggerate. Wait a second. He gets his occasional overrated chase down block,
it's
like
overrated
the bicycle
now.
built for 2 in that Game 7. But that's all it was. But KD was 5th in the league in block shots. He became Golden State's rim protector. He became maybe the best rim protector in basketball. He gave Golden State something they did not have. And you're not factoring that. You're all offense, no defense.
No.
Way to go.
But what you're doing is that you said he finished 5th, but he's taller than everybody else that finished except Rudy Gobert.
Okay, well, I can't help that.
Let me ask Chris this. If you were to swap LeBron and put him on Golden State and you took KD and put him on the Cavs, is there any difference in the outcome of the series?
I think there is.
If you took no. I'm saying as they're currently constructed. I'm saying you trying to say Kevin Durant with the Cavaliers and JR and Kevin Love would have beat the Golden State Warriors with Steph, LeBron, Clay, and Draymond. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't think so.
No.
With that team,
Shannon.
I don't think so. I think you got to put different personnel around KD.
But LeBron didn't have different personnel. He
Well,
had that.
I mean, your personnel has to be geared towards your talent and your skill set. And I think that talent was geared towards LeBron. I'm not saying KD can't do it.
Right.
I just think he needs
Shannon,
different
what do
players
we
around.
see in the last 2 Game 3s of the last 2 finals? What do we see? We saw that KD has killer in him and LeBron has shaky in him. That's what we saw. That's what we saw. In the end, that's what we saw.
I mean, LeBron, you like it. Chris can't even go with that one.
I'm
Chris
sorry.
can't even go with that
sorry.
one. Chris,
That's
I
what I
can't even
saw.
go. Chris, you
That's
can't even
what I
go.
saw.
I can't do that, Skip. Come on, Skip.
Chris, did you see the end of Game 1 last year in Oakland? I'm sure you were there.
I was there.
And what happened in the timeout before overtime started? Did you see what LeBron did on the bench?
I saw what JR did before that.
I
saw what JR did
Then
before
I
that.
saw a complete meltdown by a guy he says is one of the great leaders in the history of sports. I saw him melt down on the bench and put his head down.
He didn't put his head down. Stop.
It was a tantrum that he threw on the bench.
You know what's
and he had to sit away from the team. I don't even want to associate with these people. It's tied. You
They were sitting right next to the teammates.
You got Oakland tied. You got Golden
They
State.
had him beat.
They had him.
They had him.
That was demoralizing.
Thank
Oh,
you.
please! If you're a great leader, Michael Jordan would have said,
Michael
"Here
Jordan-
we go."
Michael Jordan never faced no team
I
like
know.
that.
Oh!
Michael Jordan would have torn this team apart. Trust me, he would have just torn their psyche apart. He,
I ain't got to go ahead, take it over.
I'm the
Take it
guy
over,
who
Chris.
actually covered Michael
I
Jordan.
understand. And
Yep.
Skip.
Whoa.
I grew up.
Whoa.
We feeling the spirit over here. Hey, Skip. But Jordan that was my idol growing up, just as a basketball fan. So I feel you right there,
must have
Michael
forgotten
Jordan.
about
No,
it.
I ain't forgotten.
You outgrew
It's just,
him.
I don't remember. I just don't remember Jordan have to go up against the likes of a KD,
Okay.
a Steph, a Klay Thompson, Draymond.
Before
Steve
we go,
Kerr.
I got to finish this because you know Kevin Durant face to face. I only know him through people around him.
Okay.
But Kevin's a weird dude. He's his own guy, as you know.
Yeah.
And he is liable to shock the world with this next choice of his.
might go
And
to
again, I'm not eliminating the possibility that he would say, let's just do the hypothetical. They win again. Let's say he's the MVP again. So it's 3 straight. And he says, you know what? Because he loves LeBron. They are very close, as you know. And again, does he think he's better in his? Sure he does. But he would say at that stage, as LeBron goes into his 17th season, you know what? He's got 2 houses here. KD does. I'm going to go down to L.A. and I'm going to help my friend LeBron win 1 more championship. That would be a lot to him. And I get I love your New York point because those are strong points. It's very intriguing. But I could also see him saying, LeBron's going to need me more than New York will need me. That's just a gut feeling on my part.
I think the Lakers will recruit KD. Obviously, they have to.
Yep.
But if KD goes to New York, it's his team.
Okay.
And then
you would have to share the stage.
You have to share the
It would
stage.
still be LeBron's team.
It would still be LeBron's team. And then just the whole stigma about KD joining a superpower. I mean, that wouldn't change if he came over here.
All right,
so I just don't see that happening.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to stick with the Lakers. You guys bring up some good points. And Chris is going to stick around because you're making this pretty fun. Are they actually contenders in the West? He's going to fall off his chair.
I thought it was real fun.
We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Last night, LeBron made his much-anticipated home debut here in LA. He finished with 13 points, 4 turnovers in 15 minutes, while sitting out the entire second half in another loss to the Nuggets. LeBron is now the MVP favorite, and the Lakers have the third best odds to win the West. Chris Haynes is still with us. And Chris, I know you watch the show. These two argue all the time about how many wins those Lakers are going to get. But what do you expect from this Lakers team?
Initially, I expect him to struggle out of the gate. I think it's similar to the transition LeBron went through when he went back to Cleveland for the first time, when he had young guys and Kyrie and Dion. He had David Blatt there, so that's a little bit different. But they struggled out the gate to build some chemistry. I think that's what's going to happen. But ultimately, I think they pick it up, have a strong season. I predict they'll get around 45, 48 wins on the season.
Uh-oh, Shannon, you're in trouble.
I think that's an accomplishment.
I got him at 54.
54?
Yeah.
It was 55, but he's
No. I said between 53 and 55. Because the thing I said they can, he said they're going to probably miss the playoffs.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you said
I got him in the playoffs at the bottom. I just got him at the bottom.
He got him at 8 seed.
Yeah. After last night, I'm thinking 7 maybe. I liked what I saw.
They're going to be 4 through 5.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not going to be worse than that, Skip. They're not going to be 6th, 7th, or 8th. They'll be 4th or the 5th seed. They might be 3rd. Because LeBron going to get that MVP. He going to get that trophy.
I do not disagree with that. But he's going to be a solo act.
No, he ain't a solo act. We're teams.
Is this team not defensively challenged, Shannon Sharpe? Yes, it is.
Shooter challenge, too.
It's 3. Is it 3-point challenge?
Yeah.
They were second worst last year, and they added
No one.
Rondo. Really? Lance, who's a 30% 3-point shooter. Really?
JaVale's shooting threes now.
Yeah, JaVale, he's jacking them up. I like that. You like that?
JaVale going to protect the rim. You saw he had that
You know
bunny
what? He
around
was
it.
strong last
Had that
night.
bunny in it last night.
Yes, he was.
No,
Hit
he
it,
was
shot.
running the
Yeah.
floor. 15, 7, and 5 blocks.
Yep.
Whew.
That's all we need.
You know JaVale?
I know JaVale. Hey, but Skip, don't get out of it. Where the Lakers, where they falling at?
I got him in, I might go to the 7th seed, but I had him in the 8th seed, losing to Golden State again, except this time in the first round as opposed to in the finals.
We tell him
That's
they're
what
not
I
going to
see.
be no 8 seed.
Skip, that's pretty disrespectful.
No, it's
that's
not.
pretty. You talk.
He joined a bunch of kids and a bunch of cast-offs, and I kept waiting for the other sneaker to drop. Is it going to be Paul George? Is it going to be Jimmy Butler? Is it
it'll drop
somebody?
next summer.
Well, it'll drop next summer, but it ain't dropping now.
But Skip,
It's over.
You just agreed with your man Shannon over here said LeBron most likely will get the MVP, right? He cannot get the MVP if you're picking him to be 7th or 8th in the conference.
Oh, if he got this team to the 8th seed, everybody'd say, you know what the narrative, you're big on narratives. LeBron lifted a team of kids and cast-offs to the 8th seed in the West. Because the West it's obviously, it is the best. It is tough.
It is.
And all of a sudden, I'm watching Melo last night, and Melo looked like he might be clicking with those Rockets, right?
We're judging off of one game, Skip?
I don't
One
know.
preseason game? That's where we're going?
Some stock in this.
Yeah, he looked
All of a
okay.
sudden, this is the first time ever the NBA preseason seems to matter, right?
He looked good in OKC early, too, didn't he?
I don't
How'd that
know
work
about
out
that. Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we already know what that. We know what 2-3 gonna do in the 16 campaign. We never seen anything like this. This is a phenomenon. Never, ever.
Well, I think he didn't want a co-star so that he could win MVP, but he doesn't really care about contending.
No, we just not gonna take a co-star. We're gonna get somebody that works with us. Look, we done got Lou Aldang off the books. There's only these young guys. Rondo 1-year deal. Lance Stevenson 1-year deal. JaVale McGee 1-year deal. So we gonna clear the decks. We got 1, maybe 2 max guys. AD look good.
See, but you can't explain to me what I keep asking you.
What?
Who is going to defend? LeBron was 308th in individual defensive win shares last year. In the playoffs, he played one-man zone for most of the playoff games. He just goes stand in the lane.
Ed Reed.
I got you. He's Ed Reed.
Yeah.
He's just standing back there. And if his guy runs the three-point line, whoever it was, it'd be like, hey, how are you? Right?
Skip. But he was required. No, we haven't seen anybody that was required to shoulder the load in the history of the game like he does in the playoffs. He must score. He must rebound.
He must play
assist.
48 minutes.
Magic didn't have this. Magic didn't have because Magic had Kareem and James Worthy.
Yeah.
Magic had Kareem and James Worthy.
Does he not
Bird
stuff that
had
session?
Parrish and McHale.
Preach, son. Keep
All
going.
these guys have. We've seen this. Skip. You make it seem like LeBron James. All he has to do is this. All he has to do. No. He got to buy the food. He got to prepare the food. He got to cook the food. Then he got to set the table. And sometimes guys don't want to eat. Jr., Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson.
And that is exactly why nobody wanted to come and play with LeBron.
Oh, that's what it was.
Because the co-star gets all the blame. If Kevin Love has a bad shoot, it's his fault. It's never LeBron's fault.
For $25 million, Skip, all I'm asking you to do is give us double figures.
Okay.
Did you see what he did against Indiana?
Why did Paul George stay in Oklahoma City?
Because he didn't want that pressure. Because you called him George Paul. Yeah, he didn't want that pressure. That's why.
But there's no pressure, Skip, in coming and playing for the Lakers?
No, there's huge. That's the point.
Okay.
No. He didn't want it because George Paul or Paul George knows exactly. He knows exactly what's going to happen if he has one of those nights like he had in what was the closeout game?
Game five, we had 2 points.
Yeah. And he was horrendous.
Yeah.
But that's why you see that board back there? Those are young legs back there.
Well,
LeBron's playing in his 100th season right now. There's no need for him to have to do every single thing. You talking about defense? Those boys better be guarded.
Yeah.
LeBron can play free safety right now.
Who's got the ball in his hands in that picture? And who will have the ball in his hands most of the time this year? 2-3.
Let me ask you a question.
And it should be.
He will lead the league in usage rate.
Let me ask you a question, Skip Bayless. On 4th down and 5 yards, Tom Brady, you want the ball in Tom Brady's hands or you want the ball in Sonny Michel's hands?
Thank you for that.
Okay, then. That guy right there, you want the ball in his hands at all
The
times.
greatest player in sports.
That's the
Tom
greatest
Brady.
player. No, the greatest player right now in any sport is right there.
He's better than Tom Brady?
He right there.
Oh, please.
He right there.
Oh, you just stepped in.
He right there.
Yeah.
That's him.
That's Tom Brady came down
trying
from
to make a positive point about
3-1
Brady, and then he had to dismiss the point.
Oh, Skip.
Please.
Skip, you were something
2-3.
else,
That sums it up, that picture right there.
No,
I got the ball, and these kids are going to go along for my ride.
But I had a conversation with LeBron. We spoke briefly after last night's game.
Okay.
And you know what kid he talked about mostly, and he raved about this kid?
Kuzma.
He said no. He said Brandon Ingram has the juice. I said, yeah, I think he can be your. I said, I think he can be your Pippen. He said that guy's going to be special.
Okay.
Well, if Brian said that, it's good for me.
But is he talking about next year or this year?
This year. We talk about right now.
Special enough to contend for a championship?
Then Skip, you know to stop it.
A champ now? We're talking championship now.
Here we go.
We're
trying
Golden State.
diminish pressure and expectations.
When we get AD
We're
next
trying
year,
to protect.
now we're going to be talking. Then we'll be cooking with Crisco. But right now, we just got Pam. We don't want no sticks. But we're going to be burning some stuff
for
next year.
joining us.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.